Amazon
You know,
special. Hello.
hello everybody.
Power.
And if you're watching this in the future, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and join us for future transmissions. And we'll enjoy and ask questions and figure things out and get new perspectives on past situations and past environments that you've been stuck in and ways you've had trouble looking at your life and ultimate ways to transform it and redefine it in a positive way so you can actually get positive results in every situation you live in the future.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
True. It's true.
Yeah. Sometimes when I actually want to talk really well, I can just speak nice and calmly and just have this nice voice that's just very pleasant to listen to.
Why don't you tell me a story in that voice?
I have other voices I can use too, but that's just like my. So I have what I like to call my therapist voice when I'm working on people, because it's this voice that just is very comforting and puts you at ease in all moments that when you're interacting with me, you just have this pure essence of pure surrender, pure calmness, and willing to put your actual self in my hands, because my ability to calm you just from my presence is ultimately beneficial to the application of the treatments that I'm going to be doing. How you doing, Val? How you doing, man? Rosemary, you're here today. Yay. Yeah. I can do really bad impressions too.
Let's hear
it. Which ones would you like to hear? Like my grandma. So the story goes with this is I've just always had a really good ear for like accents and stuff, and my grandma's from my mom and my grandma are both from like Texas. I'm from here in Oregon, and every time she get on the phone, she's been born and raised here in where I'm at. So anytime she jump on the phone with someone back from Texas or some family back from Texas, she would go from talking like this, how I sound, to talking with like more like a Texas accent, like Houston sort of area. We just kind of talk like this. So I took a trip down to Dallas for a work thing a couple of years ago for some work training stuff, because I have to travel there to go work with someone. And I was listening to the people that actually were there, and some of the women there sounded exactly like my grandma. So I was just kind of standing there listening to them talk, and I'm like, y'all sound like my grandma. It's kind of crazy. Or my favorite to do is like, so if you've ever been to like, England, how it has like so many different accents, or even like an Irish accent, like there's so many accents shoved into such a small geographical area. I always love doing like the different kind of accents that go around the British Isles and stuff. Or the difference between like different Southern accents, or if you're from the Northeast, which are really fun because it drops things that are like and this is such a riveting conversation just because I have an utter fascination with like the way people talk.
Can't send any messages out. I wonder why. Maybe I got blacklisted.
Or if you want to go get your ahs and Boston yas and get some cars, or there's a huge difference between like a Boston sort of accent sound like this to like a Philly that it drops it a little bit lower and you talk more from like right here. Or if you're from like if you're from like Jersey, you just kind of talk like this, and it's a little bit similar to like New York, but you're far enough away that you just kind of have like this way of talking about you, and you just kind of move through like these different ways of speaking. And then or the South African accent, I find that one fascinating just because there's such a combination between like you have a very English sounding accent, but then you have like the very different sort of sounding accent of South Africa that has this way of speaking where you just talk, you kind of like shape your tongue to like cup up, and it actually shapes your mouth depending on how you speak. So you have like you'll have like South African words mixed in, or African sounding words actually mixed in. So this is kind of like a South African sort of sounding accent. Whereas I had a lot of time on my hands when I was a kid, so I just kind of got to know accents. It's pretty fun.
I'm sending a couple of friends here a link.
Yeah. How you doing, Diamond?
How you doing, Diamond?
And I know it may not seem like it, but if you're from the United States, a southern sounding accent, depending on where they're from. Like I had a friend from he was from Mississippi. He had this very like slow way of talking. That's just kind of it's just very chill, very slow, very Mississippi sounding sort of accent. Whereas if you're from like Tennessee, you talk a little bit faster and you have a little bit more of a did it, and it's you goose front, which is this sort of like sound that you hear with like the southern United States, or
Ah,
or let's see, um, like I've been like the difference between an Australian accent and a New Zealand accent is actually New Zealand you talk more through your nose versus a Australian accent you talk more down here. So if you're doing like a New Zealand sort of sounding accent, you have this sort of like way of speaking that's very nasally in nature. So you
yeah.
like this way of speaking. It's just very hello, very
Hello.
very peaceful, very like I'm very agreeable in nature. Yes. And there's also a difference between like even inside of Australia, there's a huge difference between someone from Sydney or someone from Perth or someone from Melbourne or Brisbane. There's like a huge distinction between like the different regions that people are from just based off of like different Australians and stuff. I just find language utterly fascinating. Just how people the different like things that actually get fed into.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm glad you guys are finding this entertaining. That I just find accents incredibly entertaining.
Keep
But
going.
if you're going for like, let's see, Manchester, even though it's very close to, God, I'm doing that wrong. I spent the weekend on YouTube listening to South African. My beloved George is from South Africa. My favorite accent. I love different accents. So cool. Um, Thank you. Or if, or my favorite, one of my favorite, if you're going for like God, what is it? Like an Irish accent where you have this sort of sing-songy, sort of Cork sounded accent, where it's the very stereotypical thing that you think of when you're thinking of Ireland, where it has this very like sing-songy way of speaking, and then you have what is it? Like the biggest. When I met my cousin's wife for the first time, I go, "Oh, you're from Ireland." She goes, "I am not from Ireland. I'm from Scotland." And she had a very thick Scottish accent after I listened to her for like 2 minutes. Um, Liverpool has this very like when you think of Liverpool, you think of the accents of like the Beatles, like Ringo and John and all those and Paul. They have very Liverpool-y kind of accents. Um, her sounds is a vowel. There's also oh yeah no like I know where this is like the most riveting conversation, but I find the different accents utterly fascinating. Just to get like the difference between um, the different vowels or the way like you place your tongue in your mouth will produce a lot of different sort of sounding. Like when I'm actually doing like more of an Australian accent, I start going from like right here, and I end up with a very. It's not very heavy in nature, but I've met enough people from like Sydney and stuff, so I just kind of know this sort of sound to it. You just kind of drop in your throat, and you talk from kind of more of a deeper register when you're actually speaking with like an Australian accent. Yeah. Oh, no, North Fork. How's it going, Marie? Ask if I can during the session. What is the meaning of life where you of your life, where you're from. Are you about ready, Yosef?
Almost.
Okay.
I want to. Did you see what Tucker said about UFOs?
I did not. I don't tend to follow Tucker Carlson all that often. I hear
I
about.
don't either, but there is a short clip where he talks about him. I wouldn't mind sharing that. It's like a minute and a bit. It's not
Yeah, we can
political.
share.
It's not political, actually. It's not.
Yeah, we can share that for a minute and just kind of discuss
Okay.
it for a minute before we
Yeah,
start
it's.
canning.
I think it's very interesting, actually. Let me see.
Yeah, when we go into the questions, we'll have Yosef throw that as one of the questions. Or so if you listen to American accents, because we're this like the U.S. is the size of a whole continent, we have such a or my favorite is when I talk to people from like Canada, like from Saskatchewan or BC or Toronto or
Toronto.
um, Toronto. I try not to
Toronto.
pronounce the second T. I get that. I have this one friend who lives in Saskatchewan, and he's very Canadian, super sweet guy. You know, just kind of talks like this, and he has a very like Canadian goes, "Oh yeah, bud."
Oh yeah,
And
that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
last
but
time I saw him like a month and a half ago, he was wearing like a jean shirt, and I love Canadians. Canadians, I love the shit out of them because I've danced with them for a long time. They're great people.
Canadian
Um,
tuxedo.
the Canadian tuxedo. He was wearing a jean shirt, and I walk up behind him, and he's wearing just like some regular pants. Not he wasn't wearing any. Um, he wasn't wearing any like jeans or anything. But I walk up to him and go, "Oh, you're about a pair of pants short of a Canadian tuxedo, bud."
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh
here
yeah,
we
bud.
go. Okay, yeah, bud. I'm gonna show you Tucker, bud.
You want to play the audio?
Yeah, let me see how that works.
An object that first is the one you often hear, which is this is so heavy that if the public were to know about it, it would be just disruptive. It'd be too scary. Like you don't want to scare people for no good reason. There's nothing we can do about it. And you also don't want to suggest that, you know, the US military isn't capable of protecting the country, the homeland. And it does suggest that. If you can't control these objects in your airspace, and that's known, if they can't, that's known, okay? Then that suggests a limit to the power of the US military. And you don't want to tell people that because then they like won't believe that they're safe. I get it. But then there's a deeper level, which is like, okay, what's your relationship with these things? What is the US government's relationship with these things? And there's evidence that there is a relationship and that it's a longstanding. And that raises like a lot of questions about intent. And so like, what is that? And I just personally decided, you know, and people have been hurt by these things. You know, that's a fact. That's a fact. It's a knowable fact. It's a provable fact, and killed. And I'm not saying millions of people have been killed by whatever these things are, but people have been killed, and it's known because it's working its way through the courts out of the VA. So, I don't know, an object that is by definition supernatural. It's above the laws of nature as we understand them, and that has resulted in the deaths of people. We don't spend enough time thinking about like what that adds up to. Like,
Okay, there was another. That's not the right one. I mean, it's okay, but there was one. He says they're spiritual.
So
He actually said they are spiritual beings, which was the one I was going for. They all look the same, but anyway, that's what it is.
So do you know why, like, when E comes through me and like all these things, how he's always talking about spirituality and preparing your psyche and all that stuff? It's so you can be in a mental space and spiritual place that raises your frequency. It allows you to be in a level where you're able to interact with beings from outside of our planet, and it more connects you to like the larger aspect of yourself. So that's why he focuses so heavily when he's coming through me. That's why he focuses so heavily on the spiritual aspects of the thing, because when you're raising up to fourth density, which we are actually in fourth density, we're just kind of going through the process of letting go of all the stuff from third density. it allows us to more fully engage and be in fourth density in a positive version, because in fourth density things manifest much more quickly. So the time space lag that we typically think of and associate with physical reality actually like there's less of it. So if you go through your day and actually think about um, something appearing, like up until I got that red hoodie that I just took off, there's a principle that I like to call the red hoodie principle. I had this thing in my head of, and this was like 12 years ago, and I was just trying to really understand manifesting, how I manifested things into my reality, manifested things into my experience, which was, I just got the idea in my head. I want a red hoodie. I want a red hoodie. And I was just, the more I thought about it, the more I just saw red hoodies everywhere.
Yeah.
I never ended up getting a red hoodie till like the last week or so, but I decided that I was going to allow the red hoodie into my life instead of just let it be this thing that I want. It's this thing that I have now. So
I used to do this with my daughter. Let's find a red balloon. Before you know it, there'll be a bunch of red balloons right in front of you.
And also the car that I drive, I pulled into a place where I go dance on Wednesday nights, and I, by the way, I do love the way Canadians speak as well. Good people. They're the most polite jerks you'll ever come across. They say sorry.
Not anymore, but yeah, it used to be like that.
But that's kind of like the principle behind it, is allowing yourself to be in a state where you're receptive to the. By the way, I may not always channel like what I do here on stream with you guys, but I do receive stuff. I receive downloads throughout the week between these sessions, and sometimes the things that get downloaded into me it's really interesting. Like one of the last ones that was just going through my head like a week or so ago, and it was like this very detailed explanation on why being in a state of resonant, being in the proper state of resonance allows you to manifest things so quickly, is because you're in a state of having versus a state of actually wanting. Those different states produce different effects. Whereas if you're in a state of wanting, everything's just kind of outside of your reach of what you're able to manifest into your life. Whereas if you're allowing something else to control or allowing something else to take the lead, instead of being more active in your own manifestation of your reality, it becomes this thing of thinking everything's outside of yourself instead of allowing yourself to be more present in the moment to who and what you are in your experience. So for me, and this can go for whoever watches this in the future and everyone on the stream, if you're wanting something into your life, think red hoodie. The more you focus on a particular sort of energy or frequency, because we all are vibration and frequency, it's just choosing to match that state of being and that state of energy resonance that will allow you to connect to more of yourself and everything around you. Because anytime you have a desire, it's an unmet need that's in your life, that's in you personally, that's not allowing you to, that you don't, the desire leads you down a particular direction that will help you fulfill your full experience of who and what you are as a person inside your incarnation and your exploration of who you are as a person in this particular lifetime or any lifetime. This is the kind of stuff that I get downloaded to me throughout the week when I'm not on stream with you guys. Like I had that spiel dumped into my head about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And it was just kind of like, it made me finally just go get the red hoodie. By having the red hoodie and being like a thing that I actually have in my life, I'm choosing to be in resonance with the things that I feel like I need in my life, so I can just go out and do it instead of having to have it be a thing that I have to wait to go get. So
I see we already had some questions. So I think what I'll do is I'll ask everyone, because they just posted our links. So please follow us if you like.
Yes.
And you want to follow us, and repose your questions.
Yeah.
Once, because what's been happening is Ethium gives us a thing. Today's topic is give yourself space and timing. Maybe it was time.
Yeah, timing.
Give yourself space and timing. That's a topic that Ethium sent to Kenneth, and then I posted it. So wait with the questions until Ethium says his thing, and then repost them, and I'll ask for you.
So are we ready to go in?
I'm ready. Are you ready, guys?
But so yeah, that's the kind of things that I actually have downloaded throughout the week, kind of giving me like this master class on how to explain these things, and it's kind of fun. Well, it's not. It's fun. It's not kind of fun. It's fun. All right, give me a sec, guys. I'll see you when I get back. Good day to you all.
Good day. Good day.
How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Perfect, and you?
We are. And what do you have for us for today, Ethan?
You in your life, and many of you have energetically created not enough space for those things that you wish to manifest into your experience, into your life, and being in a state of receiving. You understand and see that your life is not quite the way you would like it to be, quite in the state of receiving, quite in the state of having these experiences in your life. You keep asking yourself, why, oh, why do things not quite keep showing up how and why and when I want them to? Understand that there is a time space lag in your world. And if there is not space for those things to enter into your life, whether it is a partner, whether it is money, if you have limiting beliefs, you will never have those things in your life. The idea that you as a being allow yourself to fully engage, fully move through your world is and always will be the number one thing that allows you to attract these things into your life, whether it is a partner, money, a new job, new situations that you deem necessary for you to expand and grow as a person. And this is where timing comes in. After you have created and put in place a space for these things to manifest into your life, you must understand there is a certain timing to when these things show up. The lag, as it were, inside your physical experience, inside your physical understanding of time space. Why are things not here now? Understand with this particular mindset, you are stopping for these particular things to show up in your life simultaneously much faster than they could. By allowing these things to actually happen in their own timing, you open space, you open time, you open the cosmos to deliver these things into the best possible way overall that will serve you and everyone else.
Thank you very much. Can you go more, please, about the process of manifestation? Um, Maybe give some simple examples for us.
The channel was already delivered the idea of the red hoodie.
Yes.
He was given the idea many years ago to have the understanding, the idea of the red hoodie, that he was possible and needed this thing into his life to be able to manifest. Now that he has brought into his experience this red hoodie, something that he quite enjoys wearing, that's quite colorful outside of the colors, because understand that the different colors do speak as well.
Yes.
They all carry a particular resonance. The red itself acts as a grounding color. That is why the idea of the red hoodie was delivered to him.
Right. When my daughter was younger, maybe 3 or 4, we'd be on the balcony and sing a song for a certain color of balloon, and before you know it, that balloon will show up.
Yes, because you were not in a state of expectation that it had to happen or had to show up in a very particular way. It was allowed for you to just receive because you were in a place of harmonic resonance with the objects, the moment in time. You taught your daughter in that moment to actually manifest her experience more openly and more honestly. So you're giving yourself an opportunity, an example of how to manifest more freely.
That's true. Would you say that manifestation is in some way a perspective on a topic or issue?
Yes. The idea that you do not have a thing puts you in a state where you do not receive the thing. The idea, the situation, the person, it's all neutral props. It's about more about resonance of your being that determines whether or not and how fast it shows up into your experience. When you are in more upper fourth density, like us, moving towards non physicality, where you are more in the idea of spirit, more pure non physical, everything instantly manifests. Every situation, every experience. Being humans, you have the unique opportunity to decide whether or not you would like to continue to manifest this thing into your life in your future. It gives you the idea of process. Because when you are in the idea of spirit, everything manifests instantly.
Right. Thank you. So, for example, let's say someone is struggling financially and says, "I want to make $1 million. I want to be out of debt. I want to have a nicer place to live." But in reality, they're just working some job and they maybe not have the right education to get somewhere. What kind of perspective or vibration could you offer this person to get them to that state that they want to be at?
Obviously, this being, this person you speak of, is in a particularly low vibrational state. They have not taken the proper actions to allow these things to manifest into life. If they would like to take the actions of get a better paying job or take actions in a particular direction that excites them and allows them to open up to the possibilities of receiving. Because if you don't believe you deserve to have a thing in your life, it will never manifest as well.
Right.
Because usually in those situations where those particular people don't believe or would like to receive these things, many times you humans don't believe you deserve them in the first place.
Right. So there could be a deep-seated, rooted belief. I'm not worthy of it. Therefore, my life will never get to the point where I supposedly wanted to go to.
Yes. Quite simply, yes. Because there is no space in their life for the idea of large sums of money just showing up. Therefore, those particular things will never particularly happen in those people's lifetimes. You must always, and this is why we stress this completely in every single time, you must look at your belief systems. You must look at your willingness and your ability to open up to yourself and everyone around you.
Yes, yes. How would one? I mean, maybe now with the internet and we all connected, not so much, but until recently, maybe 30 years ago, we lived in a Plato's cave. We didn't really know much other than media told us. How would one go about expanding their belief systems to include worthiness and other things that are good for them?
You are in an era that is much different than your world was 30 years ago. You are in a much more open time period where information freely moves throughout your physical collective consciousness of your internet.
Yes.
The idea that you are not worthy of those things to show up in your life, whether it is people, whether it is things, whether it is anything. If you do not believe you're worthy of receiving, you will never receive it.
Right. Thank you. What about we're bombarded with a pop culture on media and social media, this singer, that singer, and a lot of them, sing to the background of some expensive car or whatever. I, I find that a bit misleading, to drag people to think that this specific reality is really what's important, and that's not real manifestation, really.
Most of these things are distractions. If you're really honest with yourself, and I know many of you would like to be, you wouldn't really want those things anyways.
Right.
They do not fit into your lifestyle, therefore they will never manifest. They are never fit in. There's not a space where a Lamborghini fits into your life if there's no space for it. They are distractions to guide your attention in a particular direction,
Right.
to be of a particular vibration and frequency that is not in accordance with really having these things. Because much of the media that your world consumes is meant to put you in a space where you are not able to receive.
Right. It's more of a stuck observation.
Yes. It is an old perspective that will fade with time.
Very good. There are some days that I feel completely elated. Even a branch of a tree not too bud yet sings to me, and some days not so much.
Yes.
How can I stay elevated, connected?
This is more of the idea of nuance. You are defining the idea of being in a down state as not really falling your vibration or falling out of the state that is perfect for manifesting.
Yeah.
The idea is you understand the need for something when you understand the lack of it. It is there as part of the manifestation process. It is not there to tell you it will never happen. And many times when those things do not manifest into your life, whether it is a partner, a object, a large sum of money, at a particular time when you are actually experiencing these things or not experiencing things, these are the things that are necessary for your soul to evolve into your being of who you would like to actually be.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
What is the specific mechanism in this reality that we seem to exist in that works with our thoughts and emotions and feelings and reflects to us back what we vibrate?
The idea is that your reality is neutral in nature. So therefore, your reality is purely a mirror of the resonant frequency that you're putting out at that moment.
And that is one of the 5 rules, correct?
Yes. What you put out is what you get back.
Right. Ethan, would you mind for whomever is watching now and later to explain the 5 rules for us, please, even though you've done it before?
The first law is everything exists. Existence has only one quality. It exists. It is never non-existence. Everything that's in non-existence is not existing. If you can imagine, on some level, it exists in some reality. The second law is what you put out is what you get back. Your vibrational frequency gets reflected back to you in every moment. This third law is everything is here now. All time, all space, all levels of existence, they just exist on different frequencies and different domains that are germane to your experience and who you are as a person at any given time. The fourth law is the one is the all, pretending to be the one, pretending to be all that is. All the different aspects of creation, all that is, wouldn't be complete without any of you.
Yes.
And the fifth law, everything changes but the first 4 laws.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
With respect to the third law, that everything is in the now,
Yes.
I understanding conceptually, but I don't think I know it yet. Perhaps because I'm viewing time as linear.
Yes.
One time I asked you, tell me a bit about my previous lives, and you go, they're all happening right now.
Yes. They are all happening right now. You understand that the oversoul exists right now, correct?
Yes.
That oversoul, that aspect of you that you belong to, is connecting to many other incarnations that are all happening right now. You understand that with your TV channels, there are different frequencies in the air that are being received, but when you are on one channel, you do not and cannot see what's happening on another one, but it's
Right.
still there. This is what's happening with your experience of being Yosef.
Right. Thank you. We have some questions in the chat, if that's okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go back here. Diamond Mind. What are the benefits of heart and mind coherence?
It manifests your reality more coherently. It allows you to be more clear about what you're creating and who you're creating it for, what you're in touch with definition wise to allow yourself to fully engage in your reality, fully engage in your ability to cohesively be yourself in all times and all places. If something's out of alignment, you instantly know if your experience and what you're doing is correct for you or anyone else around you.
Thank you. It's really, if you listen to the little feel that comes through when you do things, even throughout the day, you kind of get like that. It's good, or it's there's something wrong with it, and I want to avoid it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Simply put out is what you put out is what you get back.
Right.
You are no longer fighting yourself when you are acting from a coherent state.
Right. Ethan, I've heard that Bashar says to do what you feel most excited about, regardless of what it is, what you feel most passionate about.
Yes.
Does that relate to the same? What you put out is what you get back. Like if you're going to do what you're most excited about, the universe will give you back more of that.
Yes. But understand that this is more of the idea that it will also reveal everything that's out of alignment with who you are as well. So when you were going through the experience of being able to manifest your experience, manifest your reality more openly, honestly, and consciously, it reveals those things that are not quite in alignment with who you are.
Right. Right. So that's when you leave the corporate job or you do whatever it is to make sure that your life is according to your heart and mind coherency.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank
The
you, Don.
idea that many of you humans have been working through and working to understand and incorporate. You have been shown for most of your lives that you are not worthy of having health, wealth, and life. The ability to fully express who you are in every moment, be unapologetically yourself in every moment. By fully being yourself, you're giving everyone truly the opportunity to decide whether or not they like who you really are instead of what they think you are.
Thank you. And by fully being yourself, I guess you mean to being honest to your heart and mind connected.
Live with an integrity of who you are. Be honest in every moment. Allow yourself to be honest with yourself and others.
Thank you. Rosemary is asking, was the dream I had as a child as a princess being taken outside and surrounded by princes injecting me with ice cream memory, and did hybrids result? Question mark. Hold on.
Yes. At that particular time when you had that particular engagement with those beings, they were studying you. They did not quite take you and actually take your genetics at that time in the way to create a hybrid. It was more of the idea that you were being studied because you were part of the hybridization program.
Can you tell us in what way Rosemary is part of the hybridization program?
Well, her family line has been taken and genetic material has been taken and integrated into the hybridization program.
I see. So part of Rosemary's or her family's DNA is with hybrids.
Yes, usually these programs last for generations. It is not one particular generation, but you, as a part of the program itself, you have a particularly strong amount of genes that were necessary for the creation of the hybrid species, such as myself.
So you and Rosemary are related in some ways.
No, not genetically speaking.
Okay. Okay. Question for Val. What are the correspondences of the planets at each tip of the heptagram clockwise in order to practice planetary magic?
The idea is that you are connecting to each of the spheres and allowing the residents themselves to integrate into your being, so you move with the cosmos themselves. Each of the energies that you can study on your own, because each of the things will actually mean something different to you, slightly different from any other interpretation that you might hear from a being such as myself or any other one else.
Thank you.
We do not give you full definition or full explanations as to what things mean, because we would like for you to go discover that for yourself.
Understood. John Cohen is asking, what type of foods turn on our wealth DNA?
The idea of allowing yourself to eat more cleanly, allowing yourself to be in a space where you are more open. Chocolate's not a bad idea.
Did you say chocolate is not a bad idea?
Yes,
Yes.
because you're allowing yourself for a rich experience.
Yes. On the same topic, I've been mixing a bit of coffee with a mix of lion's mane mushroom and maybe ashwagandha, and it feels great. Do you have any thoughts about these type of mushrooms? Become more popular these days.
The mushrooms themselves and the medicine that you are starting to take from the earth, because the earth does provide everything you need. If you hold on to the idea of necessarily needing a lot of money, that is more coming from a state of not having anything. You are in a state of survival, so you do not believe you have all the resources that you need to actually live your life fully. The idea of you using natural substances such as lion's mane, cordyceps, and other blended into your coffee,
Yes, of course.
you are opening your mind. You are clearing the fog. You are clearing your ability to be more open to receive those things, because you are no longer clouded in your vision.
Thank you. That's great. Okay, so not natural foods from the earth.
Yes.
Yes.
When you come from a state of not being in a state of survival, this allows you to open up in ways that you could not otherwise.
Thank you.
And if you are more natural, you will naturally see what belongs to you and what doesn't.
Yes. Very good. Rico Sigma is saying, my name is Elias. Please scan my chakras.
Your second chakra is off due to some previous trauma.
Anything
It is
else?
causing a disconnect from your base root chakra to the rest of your body.
Anything else for Elias?
No.
Thank you. From the same user, Rico Sigma Elias, what makes the Blackstone of Mecca special?
The black stone of Mecca is of a particularly high vibration that the founder of Islam naturally connected to, much in the way that Yeshua was in a state of pure ascension towards the end of his life and allowed himself to fully exist and comprehend his full existence, in that moment, there's a particularly strong vibration to that particular stone that you speak of. So, therefore, it allows you, because many of you who practice the idea of Islam as a religion, as a spiritual practice in your being, reminding yourself to stay humble in your experience and connect to that particular vortex that guides you in a direction that works for you.
Thank you. Speaking of Yeshua, the channel, I spoke with the channel this week, and he said
Yeah.
that Yeshua came in a session that he was having or hosting.
Yes.
Is it common for Yeshua to come through in various channels?
Yes. That being has merged with your collective consciousness and is the leader of your Western civilizations, spiritually speaking. So, therefore, because he is part of your collective, the Christ consciousness, which is a particular name for that particular collective,
Yes.
he will show up as needed where he's needed because he is not in one place. He is an aspect of all of you and has integrated to the idea of unconditional love and living a fully fulfilled life of who and what you are.
Thank
He is
you.
an example of what is possible for you all.
Yes, absolutely. How can we bring more of this peace and glory to our lives in such tumultuous times?
By being willing to be unequivocally, unconditionally loving and willing to be fully engaged in your life and who you are. By living as this example for others, you give them the opportunity to fully be themselves as well and decide whether or not they would like to travel the same path as you.
Thank you. What about people that are not willing to go this path, so want to stay in darkness, violence, and so on?
They will splinter off into other realities that are more vibrationally matched to that particular vibration.
Right. Dolores Cannon, which I'm sure you're familiar with, spoke of the earth splitting. Is this what you mean?
More the idea that you have been going through for quite some time is through the idea of the splitting prism. It is not obvious to you because the change itself, and you did go through quite a large energetic shift going through your previous eclipse.
Yes.
There was an embarkation point that showed you that you have raised your frequency as a culture, as a world.
Have we?
Yes. More and more people are waking up every day. More and more people are waking up to themselves and the greater universe. You are having more and more discussions about extraterrestrials showing up and being part of your world. As a collective, right now, you're discussing this particular topic so strongly because you are approaching the idea of open contact.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Do you
But
believe?
you must understand, this all takes timing.
Yes. Yes, space and timing.
Yes.
I'll tell you that I find our sessions are very, very helpful. Thank you very much in all kinds of ways: spiritual, mental, physical, societal, and so on. And I'm sure so does the channel and everyone else that has been following us, whether live or recordings. But should we not try and reach more people with your message?
You will with time. The right timing for these particular things will show up at the right moment. When it is necessary for these things to move forward and propel in their experience and the acceleration of the message being delivered to many other people, you will see this happen quite quickly.
Right. Okay, thank you. The thing that I've been thinking of and speaking with the channel is whether I should go and approach other online broadcasters like ourselves with an offer to introduce them to you, or should we not even bother doing that?
The inspiration to do that particular activity was put in your place to move things forward. You have been going through these particular sessions in this way to allow the channel to practice being in the state as we have and are reaching a year of coming through the channel actively in this way.
Yes.
The idea that if you would have taken him through this process or accelerated him too soon, too fast with the timing at that moment, he would have not been prepared to move forward and have such a clear channel as he does now.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. But the idea is there to help both of you propel forward in your experience and your ability to deliver the information to more people.
Thank you. I think we both feel much more comfortable with the work and with you.
Yes.
Yes.
The understanding that you are resonating properly with me and what I bring through to you and your people makes it much more easy for the information to come through because there is a clean connection between you and the channel.
Thank you. Okay, that's great. Another thing I wanted to ask you regarding this topic is we have all the videos nicely laid out in various media, and one version I always cut and correct a little bit when I can and post it with some summaries. But perhaps we should also have some sort of an index or transcript that is searchable. Do you think that's valuable?
In due time.
In
You
due
are
time.
still in the building stages of being able to fully express yourselves in this way.
Okay.
Timing. It's all about timing.
It's all about timing. Okay, very good. I have a few more questions from the chat, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Okay. Diamond Mind. What is stopping the SSani from progressing to the fifth density at this moment? And is the difference and what is the difference between the fourth and the fifth?
Fifth density is purely non-physical. And there is nothing stopping us going through that experience. You are just speaking to me through different versions of myself that are in fourth density, quasi-physical state, and also you are speaking to versions of me that are purely non-physical in nature. As my energy shifts as the way it communicates through me when I'm speaking through the channel, there are different versions of me that you are speaking to at all moments.
Thank you. Matthias Layton, can you give us your opinion on the tradition of bullfighting and its origins?
The idea of bullfightings and bull worship in general dates back thousands and thousands of years. It is a collective memory of your culture and your world. The idea of, in ancient times, the idea of bull worship was quite everywhere because the Atlanteans themselves were bull worshippers. You are fighting that old past paradigm.
So, in a way, bullfighting is released to our new reality of freedom of mind, heart, and soul.
Yes, but you also have the idea of choosing to allow these creatures to exist more peacefully.
Right.
But their traditions stand for now, for the time being.
Okay, thank you. Maria Naimuchina, question from my friend, if possible. What is the meaning of life where you are from?
Are you speaking in terms of me on Essassani or a person as to where they incarnate? Please be specific with the question.
Okay, Mayura, if you hear us, please type it. I'll go to the next question in the meantime. Daisy Essayad. I wonder how my chakras are doing. I have one stone.
You are learning to resonate with the particular stone that you have currently that is allowing you to more fully integrate the energy itself. The stones themselves act as a resonant signature that hold a particular vibration that you are choosing to match and bring into your auric field. Each stone themselves actually mean specific thing and hold a particular resonance in their frequency and the vibration that they put out. By carrying it on you and carrying it in your personage and making a connection to it fully, you are giving yourself a chance to be open to what the stone has to teach you.
Thank you. I'm personally not aware of the stone or what a stone is. Would you please explain to myself and anyone else does know?
The idea of a crystal. The reason that many of the people who are very intuitive in nature drift in that particular direction to be able to connect to the idea of stones, because everything in your world speaks if you know how to listen. Everything is made out of consciousness. There is nothing outside of consciousness. You are creating your version of the particular stones, the particular experiences, and the stones themselves are teachers to teach you how to be in a particular state to actually access that frequency whenever you need to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I saw somewhere this week. It was how to help you get to a certain brain wave frequency. I believe it was theta,
Yes.
which is at a meditation state.
Yes.
Is theta is the frequency of the meditation?
No, gamma is the frequency of the meditation that allows us to connect to the channel.
Gamma. And what is theta frequency used for in the brain?
Theta is more of a sleeping delta wave. It is
Okay,
more along the lines of when you are in spirit. It is less active like the channel is doing currently.
thank you. Maria responded Sasani here. But let me repeat the question, please. Maria is asking, question from my friend if possible. What is the meaning of life where you are from, Sasani?
To be fully yourself, to live in a state of full exhilaration, a state of full bliss at all moments, and allow yourself to explore and create and connect to every version of yourself that allows you to fully be yourself in every way, shape, or possibility. Our ideas and expression for each person, even though we act in a more collective way, is that more acts and includes all that excites me, all that excites everyone in my civilization.
Thank you. I would imagine your culture lives in peace.
We live in a synchronistic connection all the time, simultaneously, telepathically connected at all moments.
And how many of you again?
300 million.
All over the galaxy?
Yes, we travel quite far. Most of our people live on motherships.
Right.
They are massive.
Massive. How many Sasani for one single mothership?
Approximately 50 million.
Okay. I understand.
But we are coming and going constantly.
Right. When you come and go, use smaller crafts?
Yes, like my
the
scout craft.
like yours?
Yes.
And do you go often back to your mothership?
Yes.
How far is the mothership from you now?
Not as far as you think.
And where are you right now?
I am currently still in my scout ship along the North Pole of your planet.
Okay. Thank you. Val Madness is asking, can you please scan my chakras?
You are working with the idea of a block in your solar plexus?
Anything else for?
No.
No. Okay, thank you.
The particular things that we share are the most pertinent things that will give you something to work on.
Fair enough. Rico Sigma Elias said, you mentioned my second chakra is blocked. Any suggestions for unblocking?
You are holding on to toxic relationships. Allow yourself to release the idea of toxic relationships in your life that no longer serve you.
Thank you, Ethan.
The
What
idea
is-
of the second chakra itself more is the idea of how you relate to your world, how you relate to yourself, and how you relate to your experience inside of physical reality.
Thank you. Where is the information of this particular individual chakra block has come from right now?
We are scanning them.
I see. So you don't have to go through his higher self. You can just scan him directly.
No, we are connecting through his higher self, but we are also scanning him directly through the channel.
I see.
By receiving his name, we are able to connect to him energetically and allow ourselves to scan his connection to you and the collective that is participating in this particular communication.
Right. I saw on one of the social media channels this week, a lady wrote, I just need your name and I can tell you quite a bit about you. Is that similar?
Yes, the idea of a name or a particular coordinates is that which has a particular vibrational frequency that matches you as a person. That is why they ask the idea of your locational coordinates, your name, and age, because it gives you very specific frequencies and coordinates for you and the channels or beings that are doing the readings for you to be able to open up and give you accurate information.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Yes. 1 second, please. Well, this is interesting, I believe. Daisy Sayed said, your eyes were closed, so it's interesting how you picked up on the solar plexus chakra from the recent question.
We are not, we more see things as energetic patterns. The idea that the channel has his eyes closed is so he can focus on his ability to connect to us and have fully integrated communications with you. It is to create less distractions through his experience of his reality. We are looking through things constantly. We can see all of your worlds simultaneously. We can scan anywhere, anytime.
Thank you. Ethan, sometimes I walk down the street, not sometimes, but almost every time I walk down the street, and I literally can feel the person that, either in front of me or I look at, I kind of feel like I know the core thing. Is that real or am I imagining this?
You are, as a civilization, as a world, as a people, moving into a time period where you're going to become telepathic in nature. This is the beginning stages of being able to do that. You understand that there are more and more people that self-identify as empathic.
Yes.
This is a precursor to having the ability to fully connect to another person, to fully resonate with another person, to receive the information that is necessary for that being to communicate fully with you. You are in resonance with a particular person or the environment.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, some of them are quite obvious, but not all, especially if maybe, there's a person walking in front of me with a jacket and a hoodie on, and then there's nothing to see.
Yes. That person may be pulling back their energy.
Right.
They do not have to connect to you at all if they don't choose to.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Maria, follow-up question. How would the answer about the meaning of life be different if it met the current incarnation, as you said?
The idea, it doesn't matter where you're from or where you are at. It's your purpose is to be yourself. What is the definition and the ability for you to express yourself in the particular incarnation that you are and what themes you are playing out? Ultimately, you will play out all those specific themes and ideas that you chose to explore in this incarnation or any other incarnation that might be happening currently that you are connecting to. It's all the same.
Okay. Ethan, how would one realize what they came here to do, what they signed up for in this round?
What are the themes you choose and have been playing out through your entire life? If
Right.
you want to understand what it is like to be sick in an incarnation, because in that eternal state, no one is sick. No one has a body that's broken. No one has the ability to feel awful. You choose these things prior to your incarnation because it will teach you and help you evolve as a soul. The challenges that you have been going through and are experiencing ultimately are the things and the themes that you chose to play out.
The challenges are the intended lessons.
Yes, that is
Yes.
why they are revealed to you in timing.
Thank you. Is there a situation when one comes, incarnates, and completes the checklist of what they came here for? What happens after?
You move on to the new lessons. You move on to new experiences. You may not necessarily reincarnate on Earth. You may incarnate in the Sasani civilization. You may incarnate in the Lyran civilization. You may incarnate on any number of other planets, other places in the galaxy, in the universe. It's just what your soul is working through. Understand that your world is a masterclass. You are
Yeah.
all advanced souls. You are all here on purpose.
Yes. I've noticed that, thank you for this. I've noticed that with older people, some of them are absolutely elated all day long. My mother's sister, God bless her, give her long life. She just turned maybe 87 or 88, I'm not sure. And
Yes.
she's the happiest person, and her husband, who is older, and they're the happiest people ever, even though maybe their health is not the best. But I've never met anyone happier than them. And
They
they
are
seem,
fully being themselves. How could you be anything but happy when you are fully yourself?
yes. Yes. Okay, very good. One second, please. Okay, these are the questions so far from the chat, but I do have a couple for you, if it's okay to ask a couple more.
Yes.
Okay. I've studied media, in university, and all my life observed it and studied it. And where do you see media going? It's becoming more and more evident that the mainstream media is not journalistic to its core, and it's more of a one-sided presentation. And then there's some other independents that may be more honest to their own truth, but they don't get a lot of audience. And it's seems that governments are censoring and putting rules in place to try and control what you can and cannot see.
Yes.
Where are we going with media, the corporate government media versus the independent people that want to talk about whatever they want to talk about?
As a civilization and as people, you will move away eventually from the idea of the propaganda. You are seeing more content creators, more people that are releasing information to the public that are not gagged by your media, your governments in the way that you currently see them. Focus on the world you want, not the world you are currently living in. Be present in every moment and understand that things happen, but understand you are not always on the same world. As a matter of fact, you are never on the same world twice.
Yes. I thought there was a question in the chat earlier. How many times a second we switch realities?
Billions.
Billions.
Yes.
Billions.
You're shifting constantly. You're shifting so fast, so smoothly that you don't know what's happening.
Right. There's no single frame, is it?
There is only one single frame. The idea of a film strip where you have the light of your consciousness shining through the film strip and shifting through the billions of parallel realities every moment and shifting to a reality that matches your personal frequency that you are choosing to experience as a being in creation.
Yes, thank you. Is there any limit to how can I project myself into the world and in return the world will project itself back to me?
Relevance. The reality that you will experience is you will only ever experience the things that are relevant for you to experience as a person.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if it's not relevant for you to have the idea of being a millionaire in this particular incarnation, you never will.
Right. What happens with people who have like a second phase in life? You know, they live the one job and they do something completely different. They move from the city to the country, or the other way around, or completely change their life halfway through.
Yes. You could have finished a theme. You could have finished a particular contract to have an experience doing a thing. When you are done having the experience, it will end one way or the other. You can choose to do it, or you can have the universe poke you along and kick you out, which is usually a lot harder than by just allowing yourself to naturally bow out and move on to the next experience.
Yeah. Just to bow out gracefully.
Grace is another aspect of being yourself. Being kind to yourself and others, living in that eternal grace that allows you to fully engage in your reality and with everyone that you meet.
Thank you. I'll take a last question here from the two more questions from the chat, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, the one repeating here, so I don't know if I asked it already, I guess not. Val is asking, how can I unblock my solar plexus? Thank you.
By allowing yourself to alchemize and release the thing that you're holding on to in that particular area that allows you to manifest your experiences in your life. Really have an honest to God look at yourself and what you're holding on to and move past the surface level of what that particular emotion is and ask why it is really there. And then you allow yourself to actually ask the question, what would it feel like if you allowed this thing to go away? Where and what emotion is blocking you? Allow yourself to feel the opposite so you no longer hold on to the thing that has been blocking you.
Very good. Very, very good. Thank you. Okay, there was one more here. Maria, what can you tell me about insectoids?
Insectoids are beings in the universe. The beings that you know of from the hybridization process are the Zeta Grays, the manted beings. They are the ones in charge of the actual program itself. They are master geneticists, and they are guiding the Grays through the experience of creating the hybrid species such as myself.
Are there any insectoids on the planet or around it right now?
Some, but they are more acting the facilitating process and facilitating position. They are not malevolent, as you might believe, because they do not express their emotions in the way that humans do. They can come off as very cold.
Okay. Do they interact with humans directly or only through intermediaries?
Intermediaries.
Okay.
When they take you up on ships, they interact with you at those times. There has been many times when people have been abducted and reported seeing these in the background communicating with the smaller grays that you see running around on the ships.
Yes.
That are
Yes,
merely drones in nature, are not necessarily living beings as you understand it.
yes, I heard of those.
Yes.
Very good. Ethan, would you like to give us a closing a statement or a closing sentence about our topic today and everything we discussed?
Allow yourself to fully integrate and be yourself. Allow yourself to understand that everything that shows up in your life is there for to serve you and for you to choose to be more of yourself in all times and all places. Good day.
Good day. Thank you very much.
That was good.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone. The chat was
That was really
excellent
good.
today.
Thank you all.
Ethan really touched a lot of things in a very good way.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying these conversations. It was good talking to y'all. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good day. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.